Welcome back to Project 94 for another diecast review here on the channel. There are many diecasts that I've released today that I've gotten to do videos on, so no better time than now to be subscribed. And we are back with another 2023 diecast review with another Kyle Larson 2023 diecast right here. Here's Kyle Larson and his 2023 Valvoline Chevrolet Camaro ZL1 for Hendrick Motorsports. Yes, another iteration of the Valvoline paint scheme for Kyle Larson, which came out in 2021, kept it the same for 2022, just a bit modified for the next-gen car, and now the 2023 iteration of this car. And you guys must know by now that I love Valvoline diecasts. I love all things Valvoline when it comes to racing and paint schemes, being a Mark Martin fan. Having a Valvoline paint scheme that is good is very important. Did Hendrick Motorsports and Valvoline do it right this year for Kyle Larson? I don't know if I should say do it right because that's an ally thing, but you know, Valvoline, one of the most important sponsors to me, my favorite all-time racing sponsor. What do I think of their 2023 paint scheme for Larson? Stay tuned for this diecast review as it comes out of the box, ready to be reviewed in 2023. Let's see this year's Valvoline car. Always exciting to see what kind of paint schemes Valvoline comes up with every year. Here it is, out of the box, the number 5 Valvoline car. So let's waste no time and get right into the diecast review. And whoa, look at that splitter in the front. All those wonderful decal folds right out of the box. Nice. Let's see, you got number 5 right there at Hendrick Motorsports. The Chevrolet Camaro front end, which looks good. Thankfully, Lionel did that right. You have ZL1, Valvoline with the Valvoline V touching the bottom of the roof. That looks beautiful. Of course, Valvoline Trusted. And of course, you're going to have the hood vents right on top of the VA and the NE. Ugh, the hood vents, man. I mean, I'm not a big fan of these hood vents, I'll be honest. I know I keep talking about it in these diecast reviews, but I cannot give them crap over it because it's accurate to how the actual cars are. Now, you guys get the idea. There's a Valvoline logo on the hood. And if I can't see that there's a Valvoline logo, I probably need to get some therapy. I have Chevrolet Larson right there. You have Sunoco, Goodyear. Of course, the dark gray wheels with the yellow Goodyears. Thankfully, the wheels look to be printed good, so thank God. Now we got to start checking that. You have Goodyear in white. You have NASCAR Cup Series, the 75th anniversary logo for NASCAR. You got number 5, yep, that's a crooked Kyle Larson logo. You have Chevrolet Exalta Cincinnati Climb, Freightliner, Mack Tools, and Siemens. 2 race win stickers. You have Valvoline with the little oil canister right there. That's really cute. You have Valvoline right there and HendrickCars.com. Of course, the dark gray rims. I honestly wish they would have done these rims with like a dark blue color. That would have made that look really nice. On the back, no Drive for 5 logo this year. Just a Valvoline with the little oil spill right there. Motor oil spill. You got Chevrolet, Valvoline, number 5, Camaro ZL1. Of course, you got the... I really like that. That's cool to have that oil canister leaking the motor oil. It's slanted and it has the Valvoline logo on it with a nice little red paint chip. It's very cool to have that on the coolest decal on the car. Nice job, Lionel. You have Larson and Valvoline right there. Number 5 on the roof, and it looks to have like a little... Okay, never mind, I got it off. It looked like there was like a dead firefly on the roof of this thing, and I just swept it away. It was like a little yellow thing there. But number 5 on the top with Valvoline, and Larson's name on the back windshield. Time for the paint scheme. So you have a black splitter, a black spoiler, and black roof rails, like most of the cars. And of course the black sides of the underbody. So now it's time for the paint scheme itself. We're going to start with the numbers. So on the roof, so you have a different roof number color than on the side doors of this thing. On the roof, you have a dark blue outline with a red number fill-in. It looks to be trying to be the same red that's on the rest of the car, but it looks kind of different. I don't know if it's just because it's a decal or I'm just not seeing things right. But you got a red number fill-in with a dark blue outline on the top. And on the sides, you have a dark blue number fill-in with a white number fill-in. Or the dark blue outline, I should be saying. The outline of it is dark blue, and then the fill-in is a bright white color. So yeah, I really like to see like different number colors, not just the same number color on all sides of the car. It's really cool to have a dark blue outline and a red number fill-in on the top while having the other color combination on the door. I really like seeing that, like different color roof numbers. Because the top of it is white, the red makes it easier from the spotter stands to see it. The number in the front is pretty much the same one on the sides, and the one on the back is the same one on the sides as well. So let's get a look at the rest of the scheme here, shall we? On the front of this thing, on the corners of the front fascia, and a little bit on the sides of it as well, you can see the white stripe is starting on both sides. It's going to slant up under the skinny grille and the headlights of the Camaro, and that part of it's going to be white right there, but the other parts are blue. And of course, the blue stripes, the dark blue stripes that are on it, they're sort of thin and they're spaced out a little from the white. So the blue is not on the edge of the paint scheme of the decal. So it's going to swoop onto the roof of the car, and it's pretty much going to take the shape of like the hood of this thing and a little bit of the wheel well. So you can see like the decal itself is going to go past the hood line right there. As you can tell, you can see the hood line. If you stick your fingernail in there, you can feel that's where the hood line is. And it's going to be wrapped a little bit over it so it can look wide on the hood of this thing, but you could still see some of the red. So I like the way that looks, and the dark blue stripes really complement that. But they get cut off by the roof rails on the top, so the whole top of it's just going to be white. But when they're wrapping around the back window, we get to see the dark blue stripe again. Yes, you do have the white stripe next to it. So the dark blue is once again not on the edge of the white stripe that wraps over the whole top of the thing. And it's going to be like this on both sides of it, and it's going to wrap onto the deck lid. The white's going to stay in the middle, frame that little logo right there of the Valvoline, and it's going to come onto the back of this thing, and it's going to swoop like an L. Kind of looks like an L. Swoops, has part of the back bumper red still. It's going to turn right there, swoop onto the rear quarter panel, and swoosh onto the lower half of the rear section of this car. By the rear wheel well, it's going to swoop and stop right at the pit rocker box right there. Of course, the Valvoline little oil canister is going to be in the way, but the same decal. They just put that on top. It swoops onto the side, but a majority of it is covered by a giant Valvoline logo, which is big and slanted to fit the space with the new number placement. However, you do still have a big gap. So I really wish they would have found a way to fill that gap in right there, because that is a pretty huge gap. But it does show off the day glow red nicely, so I will not complain about that. Showing off the color of the car is always cool. And of course, that day glow red is the base coat, the main color of the car. The white is all decaled on there. It appears to be. But it looks really nice, honestly. You know, at first when I saw this car, I was not a fan of it. I did not like this paint scheme. I thought it sucked. But now looking at it, I like it a little bit more. Is it my favorite Valvoline paint scheme of all time? No, it's not. Is the 1998 Valvoline car still the best Valvoline car? Yes, it is. But is this a nice Valvoline car to have? In my collection? Yes, it is. The Day Glow Red Orange, it shines really nicely. And it mixes really well with the white and dark blue. Really cool. I mean, there's really not much. How much could you have changed this car? I mean, last year was such a great paint scheme, and same thing with 2021. I don't think I would have changed it. I think I would have left it like that instead of changing to this scheme. But hey, man, they're trying something different. I'll give them credit for that. Valvoline, I always appreciate them trying new things. They've been doing it for like 20, 30, 40 years now. They've been in NASCAR for a long time, so I trust them to make a pretty solid paint scheme. And while this one is not really my favorite Valvoline car, I gotta be honest, there are other Valvoline paint schemes that are better than this one. This is not a bad design. I approve of it, but not as much as the other Valvoline cars. See, I wasn't overly critical. I could have destroyed this car, but hey, man, I'm grateful we got two Valvoline cars in the field. Unfortunately, we got Byron and Larson, but we could not get a Bowman one for that Darlington throwback race, and not a Chase Elliott Valvoline car. Been like that for years. A driver that I do not root for always gets the Valvoline sponsorship. Meanwhile, drivers that I like don't get the Valvoline sponsorship anymore. That's just the way it's been after Mark Martin left Roush. But, hey man, I'm not complaining. It's a nice car. It's a pretty cool design. So let's get a look at this car one more time in a 360 view. I know you Larson fans are probably going to want to get this because, you know, it's not the HendrickCars.com livery. This is a whole new paint scheme compared to last year. So you're going to want to have this one in your collection if you're a Larson fan. If you're a Larson completionist, you definitely have to get your hands on this car. And if you're a Valvoline collector like me, the collection's not going to be complete without this, so you got to get it. I love Valvoline, especially the retro stuff. I love how they use the retro logo. But I gotta say, my favorite logo from Valvoline is the one they used back in the 90s. Like 1997, 98, 99, 2000, that kind of Valvoline logo. And of course, during the Johnny Benson era and the Scott Riggs era. Well, the Scott Riggs era had the newer Valvoline. So I would say from like Mark Martin through like Johnny Benson, that style Valvoline logo, like early 90s, late 2000s. That was my favorite Valvoline logo. But hey, man, you cannot complain about this. This is a solid, I'm not going to say it's the greatest Valvoline scheme of all time, so I'll just refer to it as a solid Valvoline design. So yeah, guys, I know you guys, Project 94 fans, are always curious whenever we have a Valvoline car in the studio. You want to know my opinion because, you know, I love Valvoline and they're my favorite sponsors, so bring it on with the paint schemes. That's all I got to say. So thank you all for checking out this diecast review here on this Kyle Larson Valvoline car. Comment, like, and subscribe, and we will see you guys in the next diecast video. And of course, gotta mention the white Goodyear logo looks good with the white. Sometimes I forget to point things out, or maybe I thought I didn't say it, so I bring it up again. That kind of happens every once in a while. What are you gonna do, right? Thank you all for checking out this diecast review. And always remember to make sure you know what you're doing when you're putting decals on your diecast. And stay tuned for many, many, many more diecasts. I have so many diecasts that are going to be reviewed. And I have a boatload more that have not been reviewed yet. I have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. About 7 new diecasts. So please subscribe. And always remember to make sure you know what you're doing when you're putting decals on your diecast.